أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نحمدك اللهم يا من نور قلوبنا بأنوار المحبة العلوية، وأكمل لنا ديننا بالولاية المرتضوية، وتم نعمته علينا بالهداية الحيدرية. ونصلي ونسلم على الخاتم لما سبق، والفاتح لمن غلق، والمعلن الحق بالحق، والدافع جيشات الأباطيل، والدامي سولات الأضاليل، حبيبك وحبيبنا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيت الأطيبين، ولا سيما النور على النور في طخياء الديجور، والإمام المنصور، والسراج المستور، مهدي هذه الأمة وخاتم الأئمة، إمام زماننا الحجة بن الحسن العسكري، عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف، ولعنة الله على أعدائهم من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن صلواتك عليه وعلى في هذه وليا ودليلا وعينا حتى وتمتعه يا ابن الحسن دردم مداومی کنی مثل همیشه، دردم مداومی کنی مثل همیشه، عقده ز دل وامی کنی مثل همیشه، آیین زیبا می شود با یک نگاهت، دل را تو شیدا می کنی مثل همیشه. چشمت کرم میریزد آقا، از بس که غوغا می کنی مثل همیشه. پرونده اعمال ما گرچه سیاه است، میدانم امضا می کنی مثل همیشه. دل مرده ام اما تو با یک گوش چشمی کار مسیحا می کنی مثل همیشه. To pray for the hastening of the reappearance of our awaited Imam, let's recite 3 loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli. Respected mu'mineen, mu'minat, dear brothers and sisters, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you all. Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Angels are one of the creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who are created with a task, who are created to be subservient in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's demands and commands, who were created that from the very first moment of their creation, they perform the tasks that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them in obedience and worship to Him. Angels, in contrast to human beings, have no free will and choice. They were designed to perform the tasks that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has assigned to them. Some angels, for example, they were assigned to do what? To witness our actions and record our deeds. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states that every single human being has angels who are recording their deeds. Angels on the left, angels on the right, angels recording the good deeds, angels recording the sins. There are some angels that would be what? Assigned to what? To give us our book on the day of judgment. That would be their task. There would be some angels that are designed to do what? To perform the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That their task is ibadah and constant dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are some angels, what their tasks were is that they would always perform tawaf around the holy Kaaba. They're always circumambulating the holy Kaaba. There are some angels, for example, that when it comes to the moment of the tashyi' janazah of a mu'min, they are also joining with other believers. Angels are joining in. There are some angels that when one is in their grave, they start the questioning of that person, individual. They start to ask questions. Man Rabbuk? Who's your Lord? What's your book? Who's your prophet? The angels start to ask questions upon every single individual within their qabr. There are some angels, for example, according to narrations, 4,000 angels surround the holy shrine and qabr of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein. And when someone goes to the ziyarah of Imam al-Hussein, istaqbaluh, those angels welcome that zair of Imam al-Hussein. Those angels will ensure that that zair would have a time of remembrance of Imam al-Hussein. Then when he leaves the shrine of Imam al-Hussein in Karbala, wadda'u, they would join in bidding farewell towards that zair. In honor of that ziyarah, they would also pray for his what? Pray for his well-being. In honor of that sa'ir, if he becomes sick, they would pray for his what? For his recovery. And honor of his ziyarah that he went towards Imam al-Hussein, when he passes away, they would come towards his bab and pray for his forgiveness. There are some angels that we know that are what? That were known as the angel of what? That would blow the trumpet in remembrance and closeness towards the last day. And there are angels, for example, that are known by their names. We know their names. Some angels known by their title for their task. For example, Malakul Maut, the angel of death, who has been given the task of taking the arwah from the jasad, from the body. Or an angel that many of us know and has been mentioned in the Holy Quran on 4 separate occasions by name, and is mentioned by his various titles for his grand task of revealing verses of the Holy Quran, being heavily involved in the revelation of the Holy Quran to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, was none other than the angel Gabriel, who was given the assigned task of revealing verses from the Holy Quran, over 6,000 verses of the Holy Quran, to the heart of the Holy Prophet. Various nights throughout the year, various cities, Mecca and Medina, various events, the angel Jibreel would descend from the heavens and reveal verses of the Holy Quran. Laylatul Qadr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna anzalnahu fi Laylatul Qadr, that the angel Jibreel would descend and reveal the complete entire Quran on that holy night, that night which is greater than 1,000 months of worship and ibadah and reflection. That Layla, the angel Jibreel would descend. Also, in addition to revealing verses from the Holy Quran, the angel Jibreel would also reveal some messages and commands from the Lord that are not mentioned in the Holy Quran. Sometimes they are referred to as Hadith al-Qudsi. Hadith Qudsi is a narration, is a message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that is not in the Holy Quran, revealed by the angel. That is what? That is a hadith in itself. It's a holy hadith. It's a hadith which is divine from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not mentioned in the Holy Quran. For example, the Holy Prophet would say that the angel Jibreel descended and sent to me this message. And itself is a narration, and itself is a divine message. You find, for example, in a hadith that we regularly recite, highly recommended to recite. Many of us when we have a gathering at home, many of us when we have a majlis, many of us when we have a wedding session, many of us when we have a function, after reciting verses from the Holy Quran, for example, Surah Yasin, the next hadith that we always, many of our communities also, we stress upon reciting this, and there is so much barakah in it, is reciting Hadithul Kisa. Hadithul Kisa has so much abundant blessings. And you find within this Hadithul Kisa, the angel Jibreel descends and wishes to be one of the Ahlul Kisa, one of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, wishes to be under the cloak. With who? With the one that he mentions. Who are Ahlul Kisa? Hum Fatimatu wa abuha wa ba'luha wa banuha. They are Fatima and her father, Fatima and her husband, and Fatima and her children, Imam Hassan, Imam al-Hussein, the progeny of Fatima. Ahlul Kisa wishes to be with them, wishes to be amongst them, and reveals the verse from the Holy Quran, chapter 33, verse 33, regards to the tathira. إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم Tathira regards to the Ahlul Bayt. Who recited it? The Archangel Jibreel descended from heavens to be amongst them. And the Holy Prophet mentions the great blessings of reciting this hadith, this narration. You find in Kitab al-Khisal, Shaykh al-Saduq has compiled Kitab al-Khisal, translated as the characteristics, whereby he numerically divides ahadith and narrations. Every hadith regards to number 1. He has a whole chapter. Every hadith regards to number 2, a chapter. Number 3, a chapter. Number 4, a chapter. It's highly recommended, mu'mineen, brothers and sisters, in addition to recitation of the Holy Quran, reflection of the Holy Quran, understanding the Holy Quran. Yes, we need to remind ourselves, if some person has the audacity to do what he is doing in the world today, this should not stop us from reciting the Quran. And the Quran will be with us. The Quran is raised above our heads. The Quran are the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Quran is a holy book, respected by every individual in the world, inshallah, to understand that the Quran is not mine, the Quran is not yours. The Quran are the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we'll dedicate one night that if we are true Hussainis, we should also remind ourselves that Imam Abi Abdullah al-Hussein, throughout his mission, the Quran was a front and foremost in his mission towards Karbala. And we will continue recitation of the Quran, continue to raise the Quran high above. Respect and love towards the Quran would always be our mission and message, that the Quran will forever live and forever be amongst us. Therefore, you find, in addition to recitation of the Holy Quran, mu'mineen, mu'minat, one should live with the hadith, with the prophetic message. When the Holy Prophet, for example, mentions a message, a hadith, a narration, we should sit down and reflect. What is the hadith of the Holy Prophet? How many times from last year to today did I sit down and read a hadith, read a message of the Holy Prophet, قال الصادق, قال الباقر, قال Rasulullah, and understand the hadith. One hadith, hadithun tudrih, khayrun min alfi hadith turwih. One hadith that you understand, reflect, recognize the importance of this hadith, is better than 1,000 hadith that you merely narrate. Highly recommended. Read the hadith, reflect upon it, understand it, and most importantly, apply it in your life today. Practice the narration that the Holy Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt alayhim wassalam have given us. In fact, we have a narration from the 6th Imam. He states that a hadith from the 6th Imam is a hadith from his father, from his father, from his father, until he mentions till the Holy Prophet, from the Holy Prophet to the angel Jibreel, from the angel Jibreel, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That when we sit down with a hadith, with a narration from the Imams, from a narration, a riwayah from the Imams, from a hadith from the Holy Prophet, think of it that this is a holy narration. This is a divine message for me to apply and improve myself in my life today. On one occasion, the Archangel Jibreel, mentioned in Kitab al-Khisal, on the number 3, that he mentions 3 pieces of recommendations to the Holy Prophet. The hadith is to the Holy Prophet, of course, for us to understand, for us to reflect. The Holy Prophet was Khataman, Khatimul Anbiya. He was the most perfect in every way. But we wish to share it, and the Holy Prophet wishes to share it for us to understand, for us to apply, for us to improve, for us to gain perfection like how they were perfect and pure in every way. Who? Muhammad and Ala Muhammad salawatullah wa salamu alayhim ajma'in. Allahumma salli. He states, number one, عش ما شئت فإنك ميت. He says, live as you wish, but know one thing, فإنك ميت. Know that for sure you are one day going to die. ميت. That's how much we wish to live in this world. Every single individual in this world, every single human being will cease to exist. The same way that we came to live in this world, one day we will leave this world and die. In Surah Al-Jum'ah today, what did we recite? Most of us who attend Salat Al-Jum'ah, most of us who recite Surah Al-Jum'ah, it's highly recommended to reflect on these verses of the Holy Quran. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala state? قُلْ إِنَّ الْمَوْتَ الَّذِي تَفِرُّونَ مِنْهُ فَإِنَّهُ مُلَاقِيكُمْ. Say that death that you wish to escape from, that you wish to forget about, know that one day it is welcoming you. One day you shall join those who have died before you, and you shall also so die. Hence, the Holy Prophet himself states, أَكْيَسُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ, the smartest believer, the smartest person amongst us, أَكْثَرُهُمْ ذِكْرًا لِلْمَوْتِ وَاسْتِعْدَادًا لَهُ, is the one who most constantly remembers death, and the one who is always prepared for the day that they are going to die. They prepare themselves. In the same way that tomorrow if I have a meeting, I prepare myself. What shall I do? What shall I address? What shall I say? How should I be ready? The greatest secret in every single one of us in our lives is that none of us know when we're going to die, how we're going to die, and where we're going to die. But the most smartest amongst us and the best amongst us is the one who's ready and prepared for that day. Ready in every way. Ready in the sense in their salah, they are prepared for their death. Hence you find the Imam state, if I want to prepare for death, if I want to improve my salah, remember this, إِذَا صَلَّيْتَ فَصَلِّي صَلَاةً مُوَدِّعٍ. If you were to pray and you want to improve your salah, because many times we say, how is my salah not a true salah? When I pray, I'm always flying towards somewhere else, always thinking about something else. Imam says, when you pray, pray as if it's your last prayer in your life. Or that advice that was on the advert on TV that says, أَقِمْ صَلَاتَكْ قَبْلَ مَمَاتَكْ. Establish your prayers before death precedes you and approaches you. Hence, the narration so beautifully states, لِدُوا لِلْمَوْتِ وَاجْمَعُوا لِلْفَنَاءِ. When you are born in this world, know the very fact that you came to birth, that one day you are also going to die. So prepare and gather everything for that day that you're going to die. One of the greatest lessons, brothers and sisters, and one of the greatest museums, and I ask humbly, from last year to this year, how many times did we go visit this museum? Did we make it a monthly habit? Did we make it a weekly habit? Inshallah, we can join one another in the next few days. We'll go together. We'll go together to this museum. The greatest museum that you all have. Where is it? The Imam state and the Prophets would state, زُورُوا الْقُبُورِ فَإِنَّهَا تُذَكِّرُكُمْ بِالْآخِرَةِ. زُورُوا الْقُبُورِ فَإِنَّهَا تُرَقِّقُ الصُّدُورِ. Go visit the graves, for it shall remind you of the next life. Go visit the qubur, the graves, the cemetery, for it shall soften your hearts. For it shall soften your hearts. And Mary Skimmel, this Orientalist professor, when she passed away in Europe, she asked on her tombstone for there to be an inscription. Everyone passes by this tombstone and it says this on her tomb. What does it say on her grave? The saying of Amir al-Mu'mineen wa Mawla al-Muttaqeen, An-nas niyamun فَإِذَا مَاتُوا انْتَبَهُوا. Amir al-Mu'mineen so beautifully states, he says, mankind, majority of mankind, they are asleep. And when they die, they wake up. When it's too late. When they die, they wake up. How many good deeds did I perform? How was my akhlaq in this dunya? What sins did I perform? Where am I heading now? But now it's too late. Amir al-Mu'mineen, after the battle of Siffin, he was passing by a set of graves. A set of graves. He was with his companions and he called out to the people of the graves, Ya Ahl al-Qubur, Ya Ahl al-Diyar al-Muhisha, Ya Ahl al-Wahda, Ya Ahl al-Wahsha, Wal-Qubur al-Mudlima. O people of the grave, O people who are in your darkness now, O people who are strangers now within the grave, O people who are in your new homes now, let me tell you, let Amir al-Mu'mineen tell you what's happening in dunya, and then you tell us what's happening there. He says, أَمَّا الدُّورُ فَقَدْ سُكِنَتْ. As for the homes that you left, people are living there. See people who pass away, either their homes have been sold off, rented off. No home is going to leave vacant when someone dies. No, people are going to move on. وَأَمَّا الْأَزْوَاجِ فَقَدْ نُكِحَتْ. And as for the people, they got married off, they continue to live their lives. وَأَمَّا الْأَمْوَالِ فَقَدْ قُسِمَتْ. And as for the wealth that you had in this dunya, it has been shared, it has been moved on, it has been split. Your wealth, your bank account has been continued, shared on. هَذَا خَبَرٌ مَا عِنْدَنَا. This is the news that we have for you. And Amir al-Mu'mineen then looks towards his companions and informs them. He says, if they were able to speak to us and respond to us, they would tell us this statement. The people of the grave will tell us this statement. إِنَّ خَيْرَ الزَّادِ التَّقْوَى. They would say to us that the best thing for the qabr, the best thing for this place that we are now in is what? The best provision is what? At-taqwa. Is my what? God consciousness. Is my what? My good deeds. Is taqwa Allah that we have been reminding ourselves so much. Innal muttaqina mafaza. The life of Imam al-Hussein is the life of taqwa. The life of akhlaq. That the best thing I can take in preparation for the next world is my taqwa. Reminds me of that father who was on his deathbed. His son came to him. He said, Father, do you have any final requests and wish? He said, yes, my dear son. When I pass away in the next few days, in the next few nights, when they're going to perform my ghusl and they're going to shroud me, you know that favorite sock that I have? The one that you bought me for Father's Day? Make sure you dress me with it. He said, sure, Father. I'll dress you with that sock, the one that I remember. After a few days, his father passes away. That son, remembering his father's will, his advice, he takes his sock to the ghusl khana. The mu'mineen are performing the ghusl. And the son says, before you shroud him, before you put the kafan, I need to do a request that my father asked me. He said, what is it? He said, here it is, his sock, his favorite sock, I want to dress it. I want to dress him with it. The people who were volunteering to performing the ghusl, they were like, you can't do that. It's unacceptable. It's haram. You can't dress him. Fortunately, you find sometimes people, they lose their understanding of the fiqh and jurisprudence when it comes to these moments. When I want to perform the ghusl, I want to make sure that I put the best suit of my father. No, that's not allowed. I want to dress him in his favorite tie. No, it's not allowed. Every single one of us, when we're buried with a kafan, and that's it. Kafan, white shroud, that shroud. They said it's not allowed. He said, this is my father's request, my father's wish. He said, this favorite sock, dress him in it. As they were going to argue with one another, an elderly gentleman came to that ghusl khana. He said, oh son of Hajj Fulan, I have the final will of your father, the one just before he passed away. He said, oh son, I wish to teach you a lesson that even my favorite sock I would be unable to take in my qabr. Look how lonely I'm going to be in my qabr, that I'm going to be wahidan farida, that nothing of this dunya would be of value except for my taqwa, except for my good deeds and my God consciousness. He said, this is a lesson for you, my dear brother, my dear son, that make sure for this qabr that we're all heading to, make sure your taqwa Allah has increased. Make sure your akhlaq has become an akhlaq which is immaculate. That's why you find Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, who knew on his mission that he is going towards Karbala, he knew very well the statement, Ish ma shit, فَإِنَّكَ مَيِّتٌ, that you're going to die. Live in this world, but know that one day you're going to die. What does he say about death, Imam al-Hussein? He says, خُطَّ الْمَوْتِ عَلَى وُلْدِ آدَمْ مَحَطَّ الْقِلَادَةِ عَلَى جِيدِ الْفِتَاتِ. He says, place death around the son of Adam, like how the necklace surrounds that female girl daughter. That female girl wears a necklace. Why? For zina. A necklace for beauty. Imam al-Hussein says death for Imam al-Hussein in honor is victory. Death for Imam al-Hussein, la ara al-maut illa sa'ada. He says, I don't see death anything but victory. Amir al-Mu'min, when he was struck in the head, what was the first response that he gave? Fustu wa Rabbil Kaaba. That I have gained victory by the Lord of the Kaaba. That I am prepared and ready for death. The Imams of the Ahlul Bayt, when the angel of death would approach them, their first response would be, Bismillah wa billah wa ala millati Rasulillah. In the name of Allah, I am heading towards liqa'ullah. Ash-shawq ila liqa'illah. I am ready and prepared. I've performed everything I could. I've purified myself. I've perfected myself in order for me to reach that state and stage of Rida Allah. A man in a moral story, he says one day to the angel of death, oh angel of death, you've given me so much time in this dunya, in this world. I have one request for you. He said, what is it? He said, you've taken other people's lives, their ruh, their arwah. But when it comes to me, can you give me a few signs and tell me? He said, sure, no problem, we agree. They gave a gentleman's agreement, and the angel agreed that I'll give you a few signs before it's the moment of your death. Be ready and prepared. Weeks passed, Months passed, years passed. The angel of death knocked on the door and said, "Oh man, today I'm taking your ruh and soul." The man said, "What do you mean? We had an agreement that before you take my soul, you give me a few signs. You warn me, you inform me." The angel of death looked at him. He said, "Wasn't your length in your life a few signs for you? Wasn't the death of others in front of you a few signs for you? Wasn't the grayness of your hair a few signs for you? Wasn't the changes in your ages a few signs?" He said, "All these signs were there for you, but you did not use them for your advantage. La mahis, there is no escape from death. عشت ما شئت فإنك ميت." Live in this world. Live, work hard. Gain that taqwa. But know that one day you're going to, and we're going to die. Number 2, he says, أحبب ما شئت. Love what you love. فإنك مفارقة. واحبب ما شئت فإنك مفارقة. Love what you want. In this world, love what you want. But know, this is a warning by the way, but know that you are one day going to what? Leave it. One day it's going to stay away from you. You will never be able to attach that love that you have towards that dunya and stay with it. Amir al-Mu'mineen, what does he say so beautifully? Dunya ghurri ghayri, ghurri ghayri. Oh dunya, go deceive someone else other than Amir al-Mu'mineen. Amir al-Mu'mineen says, I have divorced this dunya on 3 occasions. Stay away from these temporal, worldly attachments. For they are what? They are deceivers. We mentioned in the previous night that there are things that are zina and they are tests for us. Do not attach yourself so much for them. Imam al-Hussein, what does he say? An-nas abidu dunya wad-deen la'qun ala alsinatihim. Some people in this world, they are servants, subservient towards what? Towards dunya. When you tell them a good deed, all they think of is how many dollars would there be in it. When you ask them to perform this task, what they think of is what's my financial reward behind it, rather than thinking of what's the deen, how much would it in fact improve my life, improve my akhirah, improve the goodly rewards in dunya for me. Hence, Rasulullah would state that ashrarun nas, the worst of people are who? He says there would be a time, ala nas zamanun hammuhum butunuhum. There would be a time that people would be most concerned about their stomachs. What food, what drink, all they're thinking about is their food and drink. All you see on their status day and night is, what did I cook? Star rating of this restaurant? What do you think of this review of this place? What do you think of what did I cook? What do you think of what lunch did I have? All their dunya is what? Hammuhum butunum. All they're thinking about is how to fill and satisfy their butun, their stomachs. وَشَرَفُهُمْ مَتَاعُهُمْ. And all their honor and pride is what? Is in their what? Is in their gains, in their provisions. وَقِبْلَتُهُمْ نِسَاؤُهُمْ. قِبْلَتُهُمْ, their focus and compass, their moral compass is all ladies, female, zina in this world. وَدِينُهُمْ دَرَاهِمُهُمْ وَدِينَارُهُمْ. And their deen is what? Is all their dinar and dirham. is all their dollars and pounds. That's all they think to exist in this world, is all about their financial, monetary gains. Hum ashrarun nas, the Holy Prophet says. The Imams say that they are the worst of people, not thinking about their deen, their true deen, their faith, not thinking about their taqwa, not thinking about rectifying their akhlaq, not thinking about their akhirah, not thinking about their family, not thinking about their children. All they're thinking is about their stomach. All they're thinking is about their deen in terms of their dinar and their dirham. Wa'amal. Number 3, he says, وَعَمَّلْ مَا شِئْتَ فَإِنَّكَ مُجْزِمْ بِهِ. He says, yes, act as you wish. وَعْمَلْ مَا شِئْتَ. But know that for everything that you perform, there is a reward and there is a punishment. There is an accountability for what you're doing. No one shall escape the judgment day of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some people may think that we have gotten away with the auditing, with the accountancy, with the accounts this year. In fact, that person that I performed ghibah, he wasn't aware of it. That person that I lied about his life, he doesn't know. That person that I harmed him, he doesn't know. I got away with it. No way would anyone get away with an atom worth of good deed and with an atom worth of sin. فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَى مَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَى. You perform an atom weight of good deed, you'll see its reward. You perform an atom weight of sin, you'll see its hisab. You'll see its accountability on the day of judgment. Hence Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi afdal as-salatu was-salam says, وَيْلٌ لِمَنْ أَحَادُهُ أَكْثَرَ مِنْ عَشَرَاتِهِ. Woe be upon the one who his ones are more than his tens. What are the ones? What are the tens? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states, whoever performs one good deed, man jaa bil hasana, one good deed in this world, Allah rewards him, falahu ashram thaliha. Allah rewards him 10 folds, 10 deeds. And whoever performs one sin, Allah records for him in his book of Hisab, his kitab, one sin. I've mentioned this before, but it's a good reminder for us all. You perform a good deed, you have the good intention, Allah rewards you. You have the intention for it, you have a good deed, even though you didn't perform that action. You perform a good action, Allah rewards you 10 times, at the very least, from His ultimate mercy and justice and His bounty. You have an intention to perform a sin. You have an intention to perform haram. Does Allah punish you for it? Does Allah punish you for it? Does He record it in your deed? No. You did not perform it. But if you perform that act of sinning, it's recorded in your book of deeds. During the time of the Imam, the 6th Imam, a man, he stole 2 apples, 2 fruits. The Imam of the time saw him. By the way, we have in narrations, and we have in the verses of the Holy Quran, you perform good deeds, you perform your actions, not only Allah has seen you, the Prophet is aware of your actions, and the Imam of the time is aware of our actions. Today, mu'mineen, mu'minat, whenever we perform any action, remind myself, Allah is seeing me. The angels are seeing me. And Imam al-Zaman is seeing my actions. I who love Imam Zaman, I want to please him. I want to make sure he's pleased with me. I want him, when he sees my book of deeds, according to some narration, twice a week, I want him to say, well done, what a great mu'mina in Auckland, New Zealand. He could have performed haram. She could have gone and performed the haram sins. But no, perform this. Why? Out of love for Imam al-Zaman. Out of what? To please their Imam. MashaAllah. Well done to them. Well done. So Imam the sixth Imam saw the man stealing. Is that a good deed? No. Is it a sin? Yes, haram. 2 apples, 2 fruits. He walked on and walked on and walked on. The Imam is seeing him. He saw him doing what? He gave one of the apples to charity, one of the fruits to charity, to a beggar in the street. Then as he walked on, he saw the Imam. He said salam to the Imam. Imam said salam to him. The Imam said to him, what is this? What did you perform today? The man looked at the Imam. He said, Imam, it says in the Quran. Because some people think they can outsmart the Imam of their time. Or even outsmart the teachings of Allah. He says, it says in the Quran, whoever performs one good deed, Allah rewards them. How much? 10. And whoever performs one sin, Allah punishes them and records for them how many sins? 1. He says, look, Yabna Rasulullah, I stole 2 fruits, minus 2. And then one of these fruits I gave to charity, minus 2 plus 10. Minus 2 plus 10? Plus 8. At the end of the day, today I'm on the positive side. And this is what the Imam responds to him and says as a reminder for us all today. He says, لا يطاع الله من حيث يعصى. You cannot obey Allah through sinning against Him, through disobedience against Him. Okay, today I'll steal the car from the neighbor's home in order for me to go to a majlis of Imam al-Hussein. لا يطاع الله من حيث يعصى. You cannot obey Allah truly through sinning against Him. Okay, I'll jump over the neighbor's garden in order for them to use their water for wudu, and then I'll pray. No, you haven't asked for permission. It's maqsoob. You can't use that water. You need to ask for permission, even if it's for wudu, even if it's for salah. La yuta'u Allah min haythu yu'sa. You find the maraji', the ulama had given strict advice about this. Don't say, okay, I'm in a non-Muslim country, I can do whatever I want. No, our maraji' ulama say that it's important to respect as a civilized person, as an individual who's living in this world, the laws of the land that you're here. Abide by them, respect the laws here. That's why Amir al-Mu'mineen and Imam al-Mujtaba, they give a great reminder for us on a day-to-day basis. Remember the 3 angelic advice? The reminders? They state, اعمل لدنياك كأنك تعيش أبدا واعمل لآخرتك كأنك تموت غدا. Live for this life as if you're going to live forever, and work for the next life as if you're going to die tomorrow. That's if I'm going to die tomorrow, how much have I worked for that life, for that dunya, for that moment that the angel of death takes my soul from my jasad. How many of us can say, I'm ready and prepared? That when they place me within the qabr, and my parents and family members bid farewell to me, and they place the soil above me, and that night and day that I recite in dua Abu Hamza al-Thamali, أبكي لوحدتي أبكي لوحشتي أبكي لغربتي. I cry for my loneliness. I cry for that moment that I'll be all alone in my qabr. أبكي لسؤال منكر ونكير. I cry and shed tears for the day of the questioning of munkar and nakir. Those days and nights, how much have we prepared for that night? How much are we ready and can say that I am truly ready for those nights, for those days? أبكي لضيق لحدي. I cry for that moment that the qabr shall be crushed upon me, that the coffin shall be crushed upon me. How many of us are ready that the questions will start? Man Rabbuk, who is your Lord? Am I ready to prepare and answer, yes, my Lord is none other than Allah. And by the way, it's not just a question and saying that, yes, I'm ready to say Allah. My actions today should show, do I truly believe and worship Allah? Man imamuk, man nabiyuk. What's your book? Who's your prophet? Who are your imams? What's your qibla? My actions today should show, who is my prophet? Does my akhlaq show that the prophet is my true prophet? Is my akhlaq in coordination with the akhlaq of Rasulullah? My imam, I say my imam is Abu Abdullah. I say my imam is Amir al-Mu'mineen. The 12 imams, does my akhlaq show that they are my imams? My book, the Quran, does my akhlaq today show that I'm following the Quran? Because there are those, their akhlaq is far away from the akhlaq of the Quran. If I am a true follower of the Quran, follower of the kitab of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I need to show it. Why? Because as a mu'min, mu'mineen, mu'minat, every single one of us are sufara. We are ambassadors. Who are we ambassadors of? We are ambassadors of our Imam today. Safir, Sufara, our dear beloved sisters, every single one of them, with the Zainabi hijab, with the Fatimi hijab, with the role that they have. Number one, they are the first ambassadors wherever they are. Wherever they are, everyone says, wow, what a true mu'min, what a true believer, what a true Muslim, what a true lady, full of modesty, full of akhlaq, full of manners, full of morals, full of shame, haya, full of iffah, full of principles, full of respect. Our mu'mineen brothers, they are all, every single one of us are ambassadors, ambassadors of our Imam, ambassadors of our Imam. We all have a message, we all have a mission, we all have a role in spreading the teachings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in spreading the message of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad. Allah. That's why you find Imam al-Hussein before heading towards Kufa, he sends an ambassador. Not any person to be his ambassador, but in the letter he mentions who's his ambassador. Not only he is my brother, not only he is one of us, not only he is my cousin, but he is my safir towards you. He is my ambassador towards you. His message is the message of the Imam of the time of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein. Pledging allegiance towards him is bay'ah towards the Imam. Imam Abi Abdullah al-Hussein sends his beloved cousin Muslim ibn Aqil towards Kufa. Kufa was filled with mu'mineen, and Kufa was also filled with those enemies of the Ahlul Bayt. Kufa was also an area of those who switched sides, an area of those who immediately, when dunya, when dinar, when dirham, when gold coins came to their mind, they immediately left the teachings of Allah, the teachings of the Prophet, and the teachings of the grandson of Rasulullah. Muslim ibn Aqil, he receives the welcome, he receives the allegiance, he receives those messages of support. He sends the message towards Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. O Imam, I've received the pledge of allegiance and the support and the welcoming from the people of Kufa. They are welcoming you, and we are waiting for your arrival. After some moments and days and nights, there were those who changed. There were those who went back to themselves. There were those who saw the reward of Ibn Ziyad, the reward of the enemies of Imam al-Hussein. There were those who quickly shifted, and slowly, Muslim Aqil, in a city where in the masjid they welcomed him in their thousands. After he performs his salah, he sees behind him, he is waheed and ghareeb, he is alone and lonely. One by one they show their enmity towards him. Those homes that welcome Muslim Aqil, they close their doors towards Muslim Aqil. They start to search for Muslim Aqil. In the same city that Muslim was welcomed, he's become ghareeb. Until Muslim, he is running from one home to another home. He sits down outside one home. An elderly noble lady, she asks him, what do you need? There is a curfew in Kufa. What do you need? What's happening? He says, هل من جرعة من الماء? Is there one cup of water? Muslim ibn Aqil is thirsty in the hot, scorching heat of Kufa. She goes to the home. She brings a cup of water for him, quenching himself. Allah, Muslim Aqil no doubt remembers the thirst of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. After some moments, she looks at him. She says, what are you doing outside my house? Don't you have your own home to go to? Don't you have your own place to go to? Don't you have your own ashira and family to go to? He starts to shed tears and cry. She said, I didn't say anything to you. All I said is, where's your home? Where is your place? Where is your city? Where are your family? Go to them. There is a curfew here. He looks at her. He says, Ya Amat Allah, if you were to ask about my Ahl and my Ashira, if you were to ask about my family and my tribe, I am not from the city of Kufa. I am from the city of Rasulullah. I am from the city of Medina, Medina of Rasulullah. And if you were to ask about my family, I am from the family of Rasulullah. I am from the progeny of Rasulullah. And if you were to ask about who I am Muslim ibn Aqil. I am waheed and ghareeb in the city of Kufa. She was a noble lady. She allows him to spend the night in the home, performing his salah, performing his worship, performing his remembrance of Allah, until her son, who was one of the ones who followed the obedience of Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, who followed Ibn Ziyad, who followed the teachings of Yazid, the enemy of Allah. He comes home, he finds Muslim ibn Aqil, he informs the army about Muslim ibn Aqil. Muslim Aqil, he runs from one home to another until they catch Muslim ibn Aqil. They carry him to Dar al-Imara, they carry him to the palace of Ibn Ziyad. They raise him to the top of the palace, Darul Imara, Qasrul Imara. At that moment, Muslim ibn Aqil, he has his final prayer. He recites his final prayer. Then he directs himself towards Imam al-Hussein. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah, ya Aba Abdullah. It's as if he sends his salam to Imam al-Hussein to inform Imam al-Hussein that Muslim ibn Aqil is now Waheed and Farida. After some moments they notice that Imam's beloved cousin Muslim ibn Aqil, his head has been severed from his body. They threw his head onto the roads of Kufa and then his body. Allah, Allah, what a musibah. Imam Abi Abdullah al-Hussein, when he is heading towards Karbala, he asks for the young daughter of Muslim Aqil. Oh Zainab, oh beloved sister Zainab, give me the young daughter of Muslim Aqil. Hamida, Hamida. Imam al-Hussein places his hands on her head. He says, oh beloved daughter, I am like your beloved father, your uncle. Sayyid Zainab, your aunt, my daughters are your sisters. She says, oh beloved Ammah, oh Imam al-Hussein, have you received some news about my father? Have I become an orphan in this city? Allah, Allah, our daughter of Muslim Aqil, you had Imam al-Hussein to be beside you when you were an orphan. But there was a night, in the nights of the Kharab of Sham, where Ruqayya bint al-Hussein, she would call up Baba, Baba Hussein. She would call out in the midst of the night for her father, Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. She would say, Amma, my beloved aunt, Aina walidi al-Hussein. She would call out for her beloved father, Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Sesale ya Hussein amor. خرابه خونه منه
حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین
جهت آمرزش اموات مخصوصا مرحومه مغفوره هانیه فیاض صلوات بلند مرحمت. بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. حلال جمیع مشکلات است حسین، شوینده لوح سیئات است حسین. ای شیعه تو را چه غم ز طوفان بلا، جایی که سفینه تو نجات است حسین. ذکر نو هست گریه به حالم کنید دگر حلالم کنید، گریه به حالم کنید دگر حلالم کنید. صلوات محمد. وقت جدایی شدن خدا نگهداری تو، عمه مظلومم دست خدا یاری تو. گریه به حالم کنه دگر حلالم کنه، گریه به حالم کنه دگر حلالم کنه، گریه به حالم کنه
حسین فتاد از زمزمه طایر عشق حسین فتاد از زمزمه گریه به حالم کنید دگر حلالم کنید گریه به حالم کنید دگر ماشاءالله بلند گریه به حالم گریه لم کنید گاه مرا سایبان گاه سپر می شدی گاه مرا سایبان گاه سپر می شدی گاه به من مادر و گاه پدر می شدی گاه به من مادر و گاه پدر می شدی گریه به حالم کنید دگر حلالم کنید گریه به حالم کنید کنید بارو خینیلی شده پیش پدر می روم بارو خینیلی شده پیش پدر می روم علا اسیران همه من به سفر می روم علا اسیران همه من به سفر می روم گریه به حالم کنید دگر حلالم کنید ماشاءالله کنید در نظرم دم بدم روی علی اصغر است در نظرم دم بدم روی علی اصغر است در این خراب دلم تنگ علی اکبر است در این خراب دلم تنگ علی اکبر است گریه به حالم کنید دگر حلالم کنید گریه به حالم کنید سلامتان را برم به مادرم فاطمه سلامتان را برم به مادرم فاطمه به گلستان جنان کنم زما یارمه به گلستان جنان یاد کنم از همه گریه به حالم کنید دگر حلالم کنید گریه به حالم کنید کنید دگر به شام بلا شدم سفیر حسین دگر به شام بلا شدم سفیر حسین اگرچه من بودم طفل صغیر حسین اگرچه من بودم طفل صغیر حسین گریه به حالم کنید دگر حلالم کنید گریه به حالم کنید
یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین سب پر جواب دو ماشاءاللہ یا حسین 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 ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا مسلم کو ستایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر
ماشاءاللہ بھائی ماشاءاللہ
ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا
ابھی ثانی سن کر آؤ بھائی
کوفے کے شہر میں مسلم کو ستایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے
ماشاءاللہ بھائی ماشاءاللہ
ایک
سب جواب دو بھائی
یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں سر کاٹ دیا اور رسن پیروں میں باندھی سر کاٹ دیا اور رسن پیروں میں باندھی لاشیں کو پھرایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر
ماشاءاللہ
ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں امت نے کیا بیوہ جو غازی کی بہن کو امت نے کیا بیوہ جو غازی کی بہن کو زہرا کو رلایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں مسلم سے عہد توڑ دیا یہ بھی نہ سوچا مسلم سے عہد توڑ دیا یہ بھی نہ سوچا مہمان بلایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم
ہمیں سب جواب دو ماشاءاللہ
ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں حیدر ہمارا پہ کیا سر کو جدا پھیر حیدر ہمارا پہ کیا سر کو جدا پھیر لاشیں کو گرایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں
ماشاءاللہ
ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں جو ساتھ دے مسلم کا وہ حاکم کا ہے غدار جو ساتھ دے مسلم کا وہ حاکم کا ہے غدار ہانی کو بتایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں سر بھائی کا زینب نے در کوفہ پہ دیکھا سر بھائی کا زینب نے در کوفہ پہ دیکھا جب قافلہ لایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں
ماشاءاللہ
ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں اس وقت نہ کی ہر سو قیامت کا سما تھا اس وقت نہ کی ہر سو قیامت کا سما تھا جب نوحہ سنایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں ایک ظلم یہ ڈھایا گیا کوفے کے شہر میں
سلام خدمت عزاداران ابو عبدالله الحسین علیه السلام. مجلس محترم امام حسین دبال هم برگزار میشه اینجا. بعد نوازی نوحی را که عزیزا خواندن برنامه یوتا سوال و جواب با حاج آقا. کسایی که سینه زنی مونن میتونن که برن در منزل بالا اونجا سینه زنی کنن. به حرمت محمد آل محمد سلام علیکم.
Brothers and sisters, inshallah, we finish the main program now. The Farsi, I believe there's a program upstairs after this, and we will have volunteers and youth session downstairs with Sayyid after that. Brothers and sisters, before we recite the salam, can I request you all to recite Surah Fatiha, please? Especially for the sponsors for tonight, our dear Haji Qurban, that's his anniversary.
وسيل رسول رب العالمين والحسن علي بن ابي طالب ورحمه الله وبركاته. السلام على فاطمه زهراء البتول سيدة نساء العالمين ورحمه الله وبركاته. السلام على سيدنا الرحمن الرحيم الهدى الحسن والحسين سيدي الشباب عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بالثناء عليك مني سلام الله أبيض ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جبل الآخرة مني زيارته. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين خصوصا سيدي يا مولاي والأرض العباس واقتدى بين أم المكتوم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليكم المسلمين وحجج الله على خلقه علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليكم يا مولاي صاحب الزمان. السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان. أجل الله تعالى فرجك وسعد مخرجك وجعلنا من أنصار الرحمن والمستشهدين بين يديك في جملة أوليائك ورحمة الله وبركاته. صلوات
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن ولي الله حجة الحسن صلوات الله عليه وعلى آله
في هذه الساعة وليا وحافظا